everybody. It is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and tonight I'm going to show you how to paint some very beginner-friendly moonlit stairs with a garden and a moon, and there'll be flowers. Some good news, bad news on the lesson. Good news, totally know what I'm doing. The other news is I lost the reference. So this is live, and that happens. I don't know when. Maybe somebody got a new painting. I don't know what I did with it. It's hard to say. Luckily, it is in my head and in my heart, so fear not. I can guide you through it with no difficulty. In this new madcap adventure is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to help me do this craziness by switching cameras and making sure that I see questions that I might be missing and making sure that you guys get zoomed into the deep paint action. So you can really see everything that the brush is doing and everything that I'm doing, because that's the best chance for you guys to be able to duplicate this at home. This is like a painting party at home, right? I'm going to paint a thing, you're going to paint a thing, I'm going to paint a thing, you're going to paint a thing, and at the end we're both going to have a painting that kind of looks like each other. But keep in mind, they're not supposed to be photocopies. You're a person, I'm a person. We are not the same person, and that should come out in our painting a little bit, right?
And guess what? You don't even have to drive home.
And I don't have to drive home tonight. So this is an unusual time for this painting. This was supposed to be Friday night, but we had some construction stuff going on, insulation being put in Friday night, and we had to bump it to Tuesday. And we had a painting this morning. If you're not aware, we're doing 5-minute tutorials every day at 10 a.m. Come by at 9:45. I'm in the chat to answer questions, and I'll chat through the whole premiere. They're amazing if you haven't seen them. And just in case you can't hang with us for an hour for a live painting, it's a way to keep up on those art skills in our busy lives. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you what we're using tonight. I've got a 9x12 art board. This is canvas surface. I get these at Michael's. You can get them online, all kinds of places. They're not better than a stretch canvas. They're just a flat surface to paint on, and that works when you do a bazillion paintings like I do. And maybe you do a bazillion paintings too, so that might be useful for you as well. I also have burnt sienna, cad yellow, cad red, quinacridone magenta, phthalo blue, phthalo green, Dox purple, titanium white, and Mars black. I will probably be using some fluid white titanium paint just to make it easier for me on the stars. You could just thin your white paint if you weren't up for that. Our canvases tend to have wishes. It's because we like to put positive intentions or ideas out into the world. Seems much more urgent lately than it has ever been before. And so I just wanted to get simple with this wish pack that we're putting out into the universe, which is just peace on earth and good health for everyone and a time of compassion and understanding. I think if we could get peace on earth and health and compassion, a lot of our other problems would probably get better immediately. So that's my thinking, and I want that for everybody. I put out some black paint on the surface, and I'm going to take a nice wide, this is a number 26, short handle, ruby satin silver, John. Ruby satin silver. And I'm going to just paint the whole surface black. That's because this is a very dark nighttime painting, and I wanted to start with a dark color. I could do 2 colors of blue. I could do that, but I just wanted to. I filled that water so low I can't get into it. You ever fill your water cup really low and you're like, I can't, you're like mining for the water in your cup. I just wanted to start there, you know. And we're just going to paint the whole surface black. Is the sound crazy?
No, you're fine.
And John's going to fix anything going on with the cameras. You guys tell us, how's the sound? How's the view? I need a closer angle. Zoom in, John. All those things, we take that. If anybody is doing Super Chat tonight, we will be doing a thank you at the end of the show. And also for those good boys and girls that stay to the end of the show, I will pull out the complete week of 5-minute tutorial paintings and give you guys like a little kind of sneak peek and talk about what those are going to be about. I'm just painting that all black on my round table, which makes doing this so much easier when I don't have an easel. Painting it black. I did this design. Actually, I've done this design like through seasons. I've got dry grass of it. I've got flowers of it. I've got winter versions of it. I have come to these stairs. I don't know. I'm starting to think that they're spiritual stairs. I am. I'm starting to feel that they are spiritual stairs, and I must be talking to myself, in my soul in some kind of a way when I paint them. Sometimes that'll happen if we paint things again and again and again. The symbolism in the painting might be speaking to something that we need to be thinking about.
Or some song we want to sing. Like Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah. I'm going to use my low cup to take out the black on this paint. Would using black canvas be okay, says Suki Sue. Oh my goodness, Suki Sue. It would be just fine. And would save you a whole however long this took me. You wouldn't have to spend that time making the canvas black. And I'll tell you something. If I may monologue like a villain for a second. May I monologue like a villain for a second?
Sure.
In my experience, black gessoed canvases that you pre-buy are actually a nicer surface than the white. I have theories as to why that is, but it definitely is. So, and when they put them on sale, they put them on sale for like 75% off. Crazy discounts. So I like to grab all of those. And if you're wondering, do I have black canvas tutorials? I have so many of them. So feel good about buying that product because you'll be like, at least I know the Art Sherpa is giving me a lot to do.
And with that, I'll say, make sure your surface is thoroughly dry. You can tell that it's dry because it goes from that really shiny to a more matte finish. And you'll see that. See, there it goes. And that's that. But make sure you don't use heat because that will cause all sorts of unpleasant things. And, oh, Avi, you were just saying, can we do another Q-tip painting? For sure. Show up tomorrow morning at, I don't know, what is it, 9 a.m. Eastern time? And we release a new one, maybe it's 10 a.m. Some in the morning. You can go check our channel. You'll see there's a whole bunch of them coming out this week. I think she's got another 4 or 5 before we move on to the next subject matter.
What are we saying?
You got some more Q-tip paintings coming, don't you?
Oh, I do. In fact, the whole week is scheduled out, but at the end of the show, if you guys are still here, or you could just, like, if you're watching this on replay, you could just skip to the end to see, because you have that power. And I will show you all about them, but they're pretty fantastic. I had to shout out Viviane from Belgium. She says, hi, good night. You're my favorite. So I'm going to say have sweet dreams. If you're going to bed, sweet dreams. And hopefully you enjoy doing this painting a little bit later. So, all right. We got a lot going on tonight. Okay. Bonnie Rubin says, do I have a design for an angel? In fact, I have several designs for an angel, which is kind of a nice thing. Because they're fun to paint. I think I have about 4 or 5 of them. If you search the keyword angel on the channel, you should pull about 4 or 5 different styles of paintings that are angel specific. Because I believe you should never drive faster than your angel can fly. True facts. I'm going to get it bright out because I'm going to put the stairs in a little bit early, or at least sort of sketch them in. You can use a T-square, but I want to show you this sort of like weird way of painting them out, which is kind of helpful. Because I've got grass going over them, there's a whole perspective bit that I don't have to do for the stairs. Because normally you have to do them in 1 point perspective. You create a vanishing point, and the rails of the stairs come up, and then you do the little center lines, and they get closer together, and it's a whole fun thing. But we don't have to do that.
Why limit yourself to 1 point perspective? Why not do 2 or even 3 point perspective with your stairs?
That's for another 5-minute video that I'm not teaching tonight. You'll have to watch the 5-minute video on it.
We'll do perspective.
We can
in
do
5
perspective
minutes.
In 5 minutes. All right. So Dee Dee says she'd like another horse painting from me. The chances of that happening are high.
Horses happen.
They are. So let's talk about the stairs, and I'm going to kind of do them in 2 things. I'm going to take my blue and black together, and that makes that kind of like the Payne's gray. I prefer the Payne's gray that's a little more blue than anything else. And I'm going to add a little white to it. It's going to be dark, but I'm going to add a little white to it, and this will make it light enough to really sort of show here. And this will be the forward of my stairs. And I'm just using my bright to make it. And I'm going to do it right in the middle. These are what I call messy stairs. or painterly stairs, but they super work in natural settings because generally in natural settings, people sort of lay stone. And so really all you've got to do is give yourself some stairs that have 2 values and then put plants over it. It's terrific. And you just decide, I'm going to take my stairs to about this point. As they go up, there's a general little sense that they get closer together. But when people lay down natural stairs, they don't always necessarily do that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to keep my paint together.
Your paint?
No, my brain.
Oh.
Okay. So going up, when you get up to the top, you'll be putting these closer together because the perspective is you wouldn't be able to see the top of the stairs, right? And also, you can even make them a little bit thinner as they go up as well because you might not see even as much of the front face of them. If I've got to go back in and kind of correct anything, I can always do that with my black paint. I find that works pretty well. And then I'll just get those in. And that's nice. That gives me the nice beginning of stairs. It's sort of like little lines that get closer together the further away they get, which you can kind of handle. If you can stay out of that mental sense of I'm painting stairs and just go to these are little lines that get closer together the further away that they get, you'll be fine. And then we'll do a highlight on the top of these and then we'll put bushes over them and you're like, those are the easiest stairs. I thought they were so hard. I'm going to be like, I know. Everybody wants them to be super hard. And they can be, but they don't have to be. I'm going to go ahead and get some white paint with a little bit of this gray that I made down here because that's a good start to, a basic moon. Let's put that moon right here. I'm going to draw a circle with my brush. Doesn't have to be neat at this stage because I got to come and do the sky. But I'll say, all right, about that big. That's a moon.
It is.
It's just a moon. And you know why it's a moon, John?
Because you said so?
Because I said so. That is all it takes for it to be a moon. I'm going to get...
it's not a one-eyed robot?
It's not a one-eyed robot. I'm going to get one of my cat's tongue brushes, and I'm going to put... Really, I'm going to start with just my phthalo blue, and I'm going to paint all around this. And the interesting thing about that phthalo blue is it's quite dark in value, but it will show up over the black, and the depth of the black will really help it and make it very nice. So sometimes in painting, it's just about knowing the nature of paint and what it will do. And not everything is complicated or hard or difficult in any way. That was like the whole point of the little 5-minute tutorials is sometimes in 5 minutes, you can get a point. I'm not saying I would do this in 5 minutes, but I might.
You might?
I might. Probably will work on skills for a while, though. Skills and simpler paintings for a little bit. All right, am I missing anything? How many years will it take for me to get up there since I'm middle level, intermediate level, says Lindsay. Lindsay, I cannot tell you how much that the labels eventually won't mean anything. What it will be is eventually, as you paint, consistently paint, and given how often you are here, and I know you take other art classes, those skills will build up in your art box. And you will just start to create naturally, and whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or advanced, that will slip away from you, and you will just say, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And other people will go, yeah, I can see that about you. You are an artist. And that'll be a great feeling.
They were asking...
What?
Oh, no, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No. I'm not saying like, what? I'm saying like, what?
Oh, I was going to say that some folks were asking about our gnomes. And, well...
There are 2 gnomes for Halloween.
There were, no. Our gnome delivery system, our text messaging.
We used them up.
We have to pre-purchase so many, like.
And even with the generosity of our community, gnomes are très cher, as they say in
So we prepare text. And we buy big blocks of text at the beginning of the month. And what's happened is that we've got so many more people that our gnomes aren't going as far anymore.
A good problem to be having.
It's a super good problem. But
wonderful problem.
we're not yet at the place where we can afford the next tier of gnome inclusion. So,
and also I think that we have my mom's been trying to reach me via the internet, via our fans. So this is a fun moment. I'm in the premiere of today's new 5-minute video, and many of my mom's community was like, your mom's looking for you. And I'm
next,
only in our family do you. So if you guys also watch my mom's show, can you tell her hi and everything is great and the kids are great and we're all happy?
How about this? Next time your mom sends our fans to send a message, tell them to pick up a phone and call us.
Well, in all fairness, John, I lost my phone. So she did what she had to do. I'm taking a little bit of white.
We have phones.
You and your sensible solutions, as if you don't know who I am. I'm going to take just a small amount of white, and I'm going to very lightly drag the brush through the semi-white paint. So I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but paint has stages. You know, there's the very wet stage where everything sort of blends fluidly into it. There's the very dry stage where it's not blending at all, but it does a nice dry brush. But there's a middle tacky stage. I think it's an under talked about stage of painting that I really, really like. And that is where my paint is right now. I'm blurry on the screen. Me? Am I blurry?
I was just going to say that. I've just checked it. That's an autofocus camera with full drive. So I imagine.
I have my own screen and I look as in focus as I want to be. but I do seem to be in focus. Now, sometimes what happens is that YouTube auto throttles your stream and you have to look in this like little thing that sets your streaming rate. So it could have you down to 420. This low number means not good resolution and you want to get it up to 1080, which is good resolution, but you got to find the button. And I'm looking at my iPad right now and I couldn't even tell you where that button is.
It's the gear.
But there's no gear.
You have to push up to make the gear appear.
Oh, I have to push up and make the gear appear. As I go out, I'm brushing lighter and I'm letting the sky kind of naturally get darker, but we're allowing the radiance of the moon to come out. If you get anything too white, you just come back with more blue.
I still think this looks like a one-eyed robot.
It does not look like a one-eyed robot. Sure. Doesn't. You helped me edit all those paintings, so I'm going to let you say whatever you want. By the way, we need some reels. I'm falling behind on my Instagram.
I know. Today I was doing other management tasks.
Oh, she's so cute. Patty says, John, call Simon's phone and reward the kiddo that finds it. See, when it gets... So what's happening is my phone has a game on it that my youngest really likes. She swears it's never her. We're going to go with that. And it mysteriously disappears and is left somewhere in the house with its battery completely drained for unknown reasons. And when I was like, did you get mommy's phone? No. And the big eyes they're just big pools of eyes going, I would never, ever, 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 ever. And so then what do you say? You go, well, if you see it, let me know. And then eventually what happens is I clean something. I know. What craziness. I clean something against my better judgment, and sometimes I'm rewarded with my phone. But the long and short of that is that sometimes my mom has to send her fans a community to come by to make sure I'm okay. And in all fairness, I have contacted her mods and her fans and her co-host too. So goes around, comes around there. All right. Now look at that. Isn't that just chill? I want to bring this kind of into my moon more because I want it to have a nice behind the moon sort of effect. That's all that is. Nice little happy sky.
So Grandma Smith was asking, I don't understand necessarily what the donuts mean. And so...
Okay. Can I do donuts?
Sure.
Oh, or I interrupted you. I don't normally interrupt him this much. We're having a weird day. And
it's your show.
Not like a bad day, but like a weird day.
This is you talk. I'm back here. I'm only here
to
make
sure. You're funnier than me, and he has the better radio voice. I probably shouldn't talk. I should probably, John just narrates what I do, and everybody would come listen to his soft, sultry tones. But you're stuck with me.
I got a face for radio. What can I say?
He doesn't. He's a super cutie. Still super cutie. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, donuts. So for a long time, when we were one of the first channels to really go live on YouTube in art. There was a little handful of us in the beginning days. And, there wasn't a lot to watch, and people really like plan their lives by it. And they would come late. And I don't remember who started the I bring the donuts. Who started it?
So what happened is that I started heckling one of our regulars who showed up late.
We don't generally heckle our community, but sometimes
Joan,
we heckle our community a little bit.
It's sort of against our brand. But early on, when we were doing these lives, it was a lot like more what our patron lives are now, where it was a very intimate group of, I don't know, generally between 30 and 100 people who would come in, and we really just sort of knew each other and we chatted. So I was like, all right, you showed up late. Where's the donuts for everybody? If you're going to show up late, you got to bring donuts. And sure enough, that person made some emoji donuts show up, which made us all laugh. And the donuts were born.
Moderator Senna is passing on. Rosie Monster No, what's my mom's channel name? Okay, don't laugh. So I'm Cinnamon Cooning Art Sherpa, and she's Ginger Cook. But true, also. We didn't. So here's what's funny. We have what sounds like YouTube names. You know where you're supposed to make a fake name for YouTube for safety's sake? Ours sounds like that, but are not that.
Your stage name is your real name.
Diane wants you to know you'd be fab on camera. Now let's put just a little bit of interest into our moon.
I'm controlling
this
the cameras
always
now.
Gets John because my moon craters are not strictly accurate moon craters. And I could really go study moon craters and make sure that they were, but now I won't.
It's sort of like this. If you drew
I'm
a picture
getting a little
of Earth,
black on the toe of a number 4 round, and I'm dancing the brush around. I'm dancing the brush around, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a modeling to the surface. It's just a little bit of dark. And
okay.
What I got to tell you guys, less is more.
Do you see this? This is what I mean. She just...
What was that? What was that?
She's
so
has my
scampery.
sock.
She has your sock. Our dog Twix has his sock.
She just shows up.
John is always missing his socks, and the dog she has them, and she finds also the sock he's been wearing all day. It's a nasty sock, and she wants you to do something with the sock. She'd like you to take the sock.
She's very much here to
We're
play.
going to need a Twix cam. I'm adding a little white to my moon. I'm going to add a little white here. Rosie says, I had no idea that was your mom. I've even been subscribed to both your channels for so long. Well, you can thank me for my mom being there. Because she came on the platform when we had gone to VidCon and came back and we were like, live. That's what it's going to be all about. We went to VidCon. And so we got on there and she was doing a weird university style show with a famous artist named Mark Kistler for a period of time. You guys remember him? Captain Mark?
Dog, come here.
Oh, is she okay?
She just whacked her head.
Oh.
She's trying to get me to play with her.
Honestly,
and I reached down
my
to
show
pet
would
her.
have 1,000 viewers if we had a dog cam on right now, but y'all would have just cringed because when she gets the socks, sometimes she gets overexcited and she ran into a wall. Look at that. That's all we got to do for our little moon. Isn't that awesome? I love that so much. So the top of our stairs is a pretty easy bit of kit. I'm going to get my gray going again, but this time I'm going to use kind of a... She's now under my feet.
Told you.
What is in her today?
I don't know, man.
I'm going to add a little yellow to my gray, and I'm going to come to the top of my step.
Oh, hold on a second. Oh.
And I'm going to come up and just highlight the tops of my steps.
We are dog distracted.
Well, if you saw my dog, she's so cute, and you would be distracted too.
She looks like a baby
Falcor.
wish dragon.
Yeah, she looks like Falcor.
Like a baby Falcor.
Baby Falcor. Little baby Falcor with a dirty, nasty sock. She's now, I can hear her loving on. She puts her little nose into it, makes little sniffies. I've smelled my husband's socks. Actually, it's been we've had a long sock journey as a couple. I'm just going to come and paint the little spaces between the steps with this light color. And we once went to spring break together. And honestly, I threw his socks out the car. They were so bad. I was just like, I don't know what's going on with your feet, but that's a medical condition. And I threw him right out the car. But now he's got a dog who's like, your feet smell so good. I'm continuing to just highlight this. These highlights should, again, be ever diminishing. So all you got to do is just have bigger dark stripes and bigger light stripes, and they ever diminish and get closer together as they vanish. This is kind of, again, like the quick and easy way to do railroad tracks and things. Suki Sue says her daughter's name is Falcor, and Carol T says we must see.
Her daughter's dog name is Falcor, not her daughter's name.
Oh, Grandma Smith says, kind of caught me off guard that you both have John as your partner. You know what? That caught me off guard too. I did. But I knew about it before y'all did. I kind of saw it coming. Mm-hmm. I knew what was happening. I told John I had a feeling there was a vibe. Because they used to just work together, and I had a feeling there was a vibe. And I was like, John and John. I'm like, that's going to get confusing.
I'm not confused.
I love how Grandma Smith spelled both names correctly. Diane says her mother's feet felt like vinegar. Well,
Huh.
All right, so brushes I've used so far for the black background, I used this number 26 bright. For the stairs, I used a number 8 ruby satin bright. For around the moon, I used my number 8 cat's tongue, but you could use a round, you could use a bright, you could use a filbert. For that particular circular thing, it's not that important. And for inside the moon, I have used a number 4 round. So this is where we're at right now in our brushes, That's where we're at right now in our brushes. Guess what we get to do? Grass. I'm going to take a little green over to my brown. I'm going to make a very dark color. And I'm going to start to paint some grass. I'm going on the toe of, it's not really grass as much as like flowers, fields, those kinds of things. I'm going to go on the toe of my brush. And it's really hard to see it. I don't even know that John's camera, as genius as his camera work is he going to be able to see it.
Yeah,
make sure to kind
totally
of
see it.
You can kind of see it?
Totally see it.
All right. And just
Very
make sure
easy to
you
see.
bring the leaves of what's going on over your steps. The easiest steps in the world. These are super one hoot steps. One hoot, if you're new to the channel, means easiest. Easiest. Though, if you don't agree with me, we have a rating system on our website where I say I think it's this easy, and the community's allowed to come by and say it's easier or harder depending on their experience. And that's been a really good system. A really, really good system, I think.
It's working.
It's working. I'm here. I'm going to have to put some more green out. Keep doing this. So good. And just make sure that starts to be over the steps and they get closer together, and you've got this here. This layer, this just comes together really fast. I'm kind of like being mellow because otherwise we'll be on and off in 2 seconds, and it's been 5-minute videos for like the last couple of weeks, and I thought I'd give you a minute with me. How is everybody doing?
Doing great.
Man, when we don't send out the text, it's like, and I know I'm going to get people like, I didn't know there was a notification.
Are you dry brushing or just mixed
I am
brushing?
not dry brushing. There's enough water on my brush to allow this to fluidly come out and leave a nice stroke. I'm in there. I'm going to have to put more green. So you can kind of really see that these strokes, I'm coming and I flick this on the end. If you're really unfamiliar with the grass stroke, not to toot my own horn, but good news, there's a 5-minute video that teaches you thick and thin lines, leaf stroke, and grass stroke, on top of some other cool stuff you might not have ever thought of. Right now, and my mods could share it. They knew what it was. But it's okay if they don't. Is this painting is dry brush or wet brush? Oh, that was Rosie. That's a good question, though. That's a good question to ask as a student.
I asked it.
You did, but I'm just saying she was clever to think of it and ask it. Sometimes when we're alone, John pretends to be you guys, and he's actually pretty good at being you and asking the questions you would ask. It's a fascinating experience to have with him.
Well, I've seen some reoccurring questions come up over the years.
Have you seen them? I'm going to bring these up a little bit, maybe a bit on the side, and we've got some nice depth here. Now, here's the next trick. So we're going to get a little yellow into this green-brown mix. And I will start lightly here to the edge because we want this to be dark. And then right here down this corridor, we're going to add more of it.
So Eileen was saying, Cinnamon, you were talking about the tacky stage of paint, but then got distracted by my socks.
Did I? I was saying that the tacky stage of paint is where this was at to create this effect. So there's a very wet stage where when the paint goes into it, smoothly and buttery blends in. And then there's the dry stage where it just skips over the top. But there's a weird tacky stage, and you know you're in it because your brush drags. You feel a drag or resistance from the paint on the brush. And that's where you get that kind of semi-streaked, semi-blended state. And I'm trying to talk more and more about these different experiences, just because like sometimes it's easy as a teacher to take for granted that you guys might be recognizing or not recognizing, oh, my paint's in the tacky stage. Not meaning that it got bad taste and it didn't dress well. I'm just saying that it's got a nice drag to the brush and it's still wet, so it's picking some paint out of the brush and blending some, but not so much that it's soft. Can you see how I am bringing the strokes around? They curve right, they curve left, some are long, some are short. It's just, these are the layers that we build up on.
So one of the things I'm going to say, so we had a good question, is how can you get notified when these videos go live? So in order to get it from YouTube, you have to make sure you hit the subscribe button, then click the bell and click all. Now, that won't guarantee that you'll get it from them, but you'll have a much better chance. Then if you'd like, you can also send the Art Sherpa.
Oh, there it is.
To 33222, and we will, as long as there are gnomes in the stable, send them out.
As long as there are gnomes in the stable and gnomes in the sky, you will send it out.
Yeah, so that's our gnomification.
No mountain high enough. All right, I'm going to go like this, just because it's going to be real easy for me, I think. This is my theory. I'm going to put out some fluid paint. You can thin your white paint if you're using just heavy body and you don't have like a white. If you're not familiar, so this is Golden's Heavy Body Fluid Paint, which is a fine art acrylic, really loaded with titanium pigment, super opaque, amazing, fantastic stuff. But you may be like, look, I just got a set of 48 paints and I'm not really sure that I want to go buy a bunch of stuff. You can either add water to your white paint, but you might find it's a little thin pigmented, or you can grab a bottle of like craft paint by like Deco Art. Now this is a dotting tool. Toothpicks and the back of small brushes also work. And we're going to make these stars by dotting. Because there's some stars in the sky. And we'll make some twinkly once they're dry, right? Once the stars are dry. Sometimes you're like, I loaded paint, and then you're like, oh, I didn't. I'm going to leave some space there so I can do like a big sparkle. This is the simple painting that goes with the very complicated garden gate we just did. BJ's like, I missed this notification too. No, BJ, we just didn't send it. We ran out of texts. We ran out. Bianca's like, how is your health? Is the doc going to let you stand soon? Okay. So, in case you hadn't heard it, I got all my results back and I'm okay. It was probably just a singular event that happened that was just like, woo. But everything's all right. All the results are in. It's great. I can stand soon, but I have no place to stand now because we swapped the studio and John built an entire thing for me to be here at the table and the easel's not set up yet.
Mm-hmm.
So now I could stand, but there's no place to do it yet. But I am I am fine, and that is confirmed. But I did learn a thing, which is I don't like going to the hospital, and I don't want to ever do it again. That was my first time, and I was not. I think that healthcare workers are amazing, terrific people, and I like to see them only at dinner parties. I'm taking a little of my yellow and brown, and I'm going to come to the front of this and kind of imply that there's a bit of dirt here.
You've used the back of a paintbrush as a dotting tool before.
You can use the back of a paintbrush. You can use a Q-tip. You can use the point of a pencil. You just want something that comes to a tapered finish. And also they have like, I love my Galaxy tool. It's a bit of engineering wonder, and it comes in a really cool splatter kit set that I designed. That said, there are daughters on Amazon for nails in the nail area that are really good. So whatever works in your budget. The moon looks like it's in a tunnel. It should. It should be very like pulling your mind in. Okay. I'm going to get into my number 4 round. You just need a round that gives you a good result. I'm going to get it wet. And this time I'm going to get a little of my yellow. And I'll go into here more. These are the brighter green. And I will piece out bits of the grass here that are more detailed. This won't go all the way into the dark. Right? This is for that corridor of light. There's still a little brown in there, so it's not the brightest yellow green you've ever seen, just bright in relationship to the green around it. And you can see the motions are very similar. The stroke, and I don't know if John can get on it, if you've never seen the grass stroke, is firm at the start and releases.
Mm-hmm.
And you go kind of fast. Going fast actually helps. Let me get my cup out of the way. You can really see it as it's going on. Going kind of fast actually helps. You'll notice some curve to the right and some curve to the left. And that's because grass is wild and unruly. Even on a one-hoop painting, it should still be wild and unruly. You can always come in with some darker green. That's the pure phthalo. It will pop against the dark background that you have, the kind of diminished background, but still be dark enough to make things feel like they're more in shadow through your outside edges of your painting. Yeah, we got that. That's going there.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, other side. Same thing, other side. And come from the bottom, and I'll work up. Sometimes I have to dip in my water. I only dip my brush when I'm getting more water. I'm only going to dip to about halfway up the filaments. I don't get it up into the metal. I just want to drop to improve the flow of my paint. I swirl it around, I roll it off, and then I get it back on the toe. What is the long bristle brush? I think they're black with the splatter set. The bristles are several inches long, and it's the one brush I haven't seen Cinnamon use. I have used it. It is really fantastic for a bunch of abstract applications. It is a texture technique brush. I don't know what we decided. We called it the large splatter. You use that brush for large stars, right? It takes a little bit of practice because you flip it back, and you can see it on the How to Splatter Stars video. I do believe I used it in the How to Splatter Stars, where I give you all kinds of ways with my brushes and without my brushes to splatter stars. I'm going to continue to do that. So it is there, and it makes a really great kind of abstract string. So if you're doing any kind of fluid art, that's an excellent brush to get, because if you dip it into your fluid medium and pull it up, you can make crazy strings that will go into your fluid painting. Just continue to add this nice grass. There we go. Breathing in, I smell the grass. In your artist's mind, imagine that you're smelling the grass. Every blade of grass, here's a fun exercise. Every blade of grass, imagine that it's anything you've been carrying with you. As each blade is stroked out, you're releasing that into this canvas, and it's going away from you, and it's going to be in the canvas, and it's going to come back as positivity. Only goodness in your life. I'm grabbing the darker green as I go, kind of weaving that in. Every blade of grass is some of your stress or concern going away. Every blade of grass is some relaxation, unless what I'm doing right now is super irritating to you, and then it's not, and I'm super sorry.
You have to ask yourself, why are you here? Perhaps someplace else would be more pleasant.
Oh, no.
But
Lindsay would like to know what hoot level. I would say, Lindsay, that you should probably focus on the 1 to 2 hoots for 20 to 30 paintings because they build up a lot of skills. And then when you're feeling like you have the base core skill set down, try a 3 hoot. And if you're getting through the 3 hoot really comfortably, hit like an acrylic April and do the whole month, and you will be really ready to do some stuff. We have complete programs here, so you can actually really create your own curriculum and your own plan for yourself that works for you. That in the big art quest.
we have some questing.
We have some questing. Shirley Major, she's there is a toot saying that there is a toot, and I see Noletta Cardenas. Hi. And then Grandma Smith says she's going to have to do an entire canvas in leaves. Oh, that is actually doing a whole canvas in leaves. There are these amazing Australian painters. They're native Aboriginal painters, and they do this spiritual leaf stroke that even watching it, your blood pressure just drops immediately. Like you can see where that came from. Like I would do that too. I'm going to get a little more yellow into my brush. This is the last little touch. I'll get a little white into it. It can have the brown because, again, it's not the bright grass of day, but it is bright in the moonlight. So that's the balance that we're looking for, bright in the moonlight. Come here and just a little bit, little patches, right? These are little touches. And again, I'm just spending time with you guys because I've missed you. I hope everyone who's here who can be at the premiere tomorrow for the Rainbow Dandelions will do so, because you guys are going to love it. You guys are going to love it. All right. Coming through here. There we go. You can see we've created a little sense of that being more lit. It's very dramatic. Artsy Sister says, the mods are fabulous. They're so quick responses and links. Thank you, mods. Artsy Sister, I totally agree. Bianca Bradley says, I would love to see Sherpa do indigenous paintings from Australia or Arizona or from the Hopi. That is a really good question and kind of relevant to who we are as artists and everything right now. Now, I have done pieces that were inspired by indigenous people of both North America, and I actually did one that had some inspiration from Aboriginal artists, but I am always really present to not use imagery that is traditional to the culture, to not use imagery that is sacred or important to any of the people. So like when you see my dot painting that is a hammerhead shark, because we did for Shark Week, like it has a feel of it, an essence of it, but there's nothing that is specifically appropriated from the culture. And that is kind of a thing that's important to think about as artists, is that that we are present to that and aware of that. So I do have some Native American paintings. I mean, I have my, lots of things. We did Southwest Wheat, but always with that awareness. And that's something to think about too when you're doing artwork. Like, I wouldn't ever do the leaf paintings because those are sacred and spiritual. And we have Sherpettes who are from Australia and are Aboriginal and have really helped us be aware and present to that. You won't know this, but entire groups of people were murdered in their home over the color yellow ochre, over this color, like a lot of people. So art is a very interesting and dramatic field, and it's just something that we can think about as artists. I never tell anybody what to do. That's just something that I have going on, and so that's how I personally navigate that. Now, I'm going to add some flowers. I'm going to take my magenta on my number 4 round, and I'm going to take my Diox purple, and I'm kind of mix them together. You can add a little white to it so it kind of shows it's a wine color. And I'm going to tap little dots. That's all it is. little dots. Just the toe of my brush. These are quite dark. They do show and they look oh so beautiful over the deep green.
Mm-hmm.
These are more in shadow, and so they have a darker value. I do bring some of them into the lighter area because maybe they're down in the grasses, down in the leaves. And so maybe not as much moonlight is getting on them. Betty Ellis, what is the hardest painting that you have done? I would probably say the Selkie from the Big Art Quest fairy tale. For whatever reason,
Really?
she like almost ended me.
Oh, I remember that.
Man, I struggled. I mean, other paintings might have been more technically challenging, or I thought they were going to be harder. But what really like stopped me, rocked me, was her. And I had to really like, it was so good that I had people waiting on that tutorial because it forced me to find a way through her when maybe it might have been super tempting to give up and do another thing. So that I would say was the hardest for me personally, like maybe in my life. Oh, wait, the TD Industry Commission was pretty difficult for me too. That was a tough one as well. But honestly, I had a lot of support for that. So I'm going to say Selkie is still the hardest just because I don't know what it was about that lesson. I don't know if it was the things going on in my life, the weird putty color that everything was. Something about it really stopped me. And I love her. She came out gorgeous. You would think it was the Koi Mermaid from that year. She was the most involved technique heavy lesson. But or maybe Lechuza, but no, those were like a joy. And even the Red Queen right now, I'm only stopped on her because I don't have a standing space. Green World, totally fine. Most of the stuff is fine, but sometimes every once in a while you'll run into a painting that just takes you to a place you didn't know you were struggling. Something about it will bring you there. Notice I'm just tapping these around. They kind of just look like dark. I don't know. Can they really see the burgundy on this? Oh, Stephanie Willis, thank you so much for the super chat.
You can definitely see
We
them.
really appreciate that. All the super chat is how we started being able to do these like 5-minute tutorials and the extra content that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we really, really appreciate that support. And to all of our monthly patrons, we appreciate it so much. Those things really help. But you know, commenting helps. Tagging us when you share a painting online really helps. So there's lots of ways to help, not just a one and done thing. Just making sure there's some integration into that. Now, as I come forward, I'm going to do an interesting thing. I'm going to take my cad red and my magenta a little more magenta heavy. And that's mostly so that I can come back with a pop of the cad red later. And I'm going to weave this in. So these are a little more in this light space. So they'll come back into the dark, but they'll be more in this middle range.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, Patty. Oh, I appreciate that so much. And remember at the end when we're thanking our patrons, I'll show you guys everything that's going on in those 5-minute tutorials that we're able to do now. So you can see that I just get this on the toe of my brush, you know, and can the side camera see it?
Yep.
You know, we'll take this and zoom in, and I'll let you guys really see this going down. I don't know if you've seen that closely enough. That's really all I'm doing. Is just bringing a little stuff there and touching it in. But you can see now how weaving those colors sort of makes them feel like the same flower. Since we're not blending on the canvas the flowers, we're blending visually like pointillism. I'm going to bring some of these kind of over my stairs because they would be, wouldn't they? I'm here if I need to. Taking them on the edge of the grasses. Some of the blooms are bigger, some are lighter. But definitely all pretty heavy. Again, this is the cad red and the magenta mixed heavier to the magenta. Sienna. It's not a 10-minute tutorial, it's a 5-minute tutorial.
5 minutes.
5-minute tutorials. The tutorials are 5 minutes. We really thought a long time about, I'm answering a question I saw online.
I see.
we were like, what would help people who were painting with us, but maybe like because of different circumstances, family changes, like new baby arrivals, new jobs, travel, all kinds of things. What could people do even under those conditions? And we talked about all the time frames, and we realized everybody's got 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You might not even have 10, right? But you're brushing your teeth, you got 5. The idea of this is every day will give you something you can learn about art, a project you can do, something that you can see how to do it in 5. You can learn a technique in 5 because everybody's got 5 minutes. And it was really about creating a sense of not being unable to get into something because of life. Because that's one of the things that I get feedback from is people love what we do, but you know, we've been here a minute, I don't know, probably what, 40? And not everybody has 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hour, 4 hours, right? To commit to a tutorial in real time. And this lets them be part of that. And because I go to the premiere chat, which is a live chat like this, I can answer questions. I come in early to the show to answer any questions, and I stay through the whole premiere. And so there's a bit of the community that happened, and it's just about a way of making sure that all of the people who paint with us can feel included into what we're doing.
So there's a reasonably good question here.
I'd love to answer it as I'm dotting many, many little flowers.
Where did it go? Where did you get your ideas from?
Where did it go?
Where did you get your ideas from?
Where do I get my ideas from? Tons of places. A lot of times you guys. Sometimes I'm inspired by other art trends that are going on. If I'm ever inspired by a particular artist, I will let you know that. And I don't often replicate other artists' work, but if I do so with permission, and you're told when that is, or I license that and make sure that whatever is required by the license that's attributed. But mostly it's about, you know, there's kind of a back and forth between my community and myself of things that you guys are interested in and excited to paint, and then trying to find stuff that fulfills that. Because like anything else, art has trends. It does. Sylvia, thank you so much. And Heather K, thank you so much. And Heather says, thank you for bringing some light into all this craziness. You are so welcome. You guys are the light in the craziness for me as well. Mm-hmm. And you are welcome, Sylvia. I really appreciate that. Oh, and Linda's shouting me out. If you're doing Lifebook 2020, I'm the guest teacher this week. Thank you, Linda, very much. And we did a piece dedicated to the story of the two wolves. That was really fun. Check my Facebook page. I'm going to put up something in the community tab here, because the taster session is coming up, and that's completely free. So for Lifebook 2021, doing the taster session. Now I'm going to get a little more of the red and pink, and I'm going to come in and add some white to it. Just a little bit of white, and you can see that kind of makes a brighter pink. And we're going to add some of that to the flowers as a highlight.
That's a complicated question. How can you learn to draw a dog from a photo? I don't know if you could. Could you?
Yeah, you can learn to draw a dog from a photo. So drawing, right, is a skill like painting. It's a good idea to practice all the time with drawing. You want to get a sketchbook and a pencil, and you draw on it every day. I actually had my daughter on a patron show because she's fantastic sketchbooks. And believe it or not, I really try to facilitate my kids' art journey, but stay out of it because I'm their mom and nobody needs criticisms from their mom about their art. So I just try to be a support system. But she came in and talked about that. And really with drawing, it's about draw. You got to draw. You got to do it a lot. There's some good places to learn how to draw. You can, a lot of methods. I really like the book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I'm going to say that again. Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. If you want to learn how to draw, I think that's a good step one. It's an organized program. It's focused for every level and skill and understanding around art. And it doesn't require you to have any talent to do it. I don't actually believe in talent, which is why I put it in air quotes. Talent is a made-up word. I don't believe in it. Just keep putting nice thick applications of this lighter pink out. And you can see that now shows a little bit of the light there, doesn't it? Let's get some water on our brush, and we're nearly done. Come into some cad red, little magenta, but mostly cad now. Mostly cad.
This has gone so quickly.
Has it?
Well, it's been very well.
After the 5-minute videos, it feels like it's just going on forever. Sorry, I'm okay. Bring that through here. Just adding these bright pops of red, and you can see that really shows, doesn't it? The cad red, when you reserve it for these last little moments, that's when you see the glow of cadmium pigment when you use it.
The glow.
The glow. Cadmium. If you're ever wondering, why would anybody use cadmium? I'm just coming here and I'm adding a little bit of the cadmium. There we go. Getting our cadmium on. Look at that bright pop of flowers going down.
Yeah.
Now, a last cool touch you can do is, a couple cool last touches. You can take a little bit of your white, and I'm going to get a smidge of my blue, just barely, very light, and I can come on top of the steps. And brush a little bit of light. Just a little bit. Don't get crazy with it. Getting crazy with it. Crazy with it on a Tuesday night. Different than our normal Friday night time. Friday night channel. Normally we do this Friday night at 7 p.m.
Wow.
Well, that gives us a little bit of that, right? Just a little bit of light coming up the steps.
That looks really cool.
Talking about little bits of value. Oh, there we go. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Elaine's like, I have that book. Grandma says no cadmium. I won't do that to poor factory workers. Well, here's an interesting thing. Artist cadmium and the cadmium that you get in batteries are, while fundamentally very similar, have a very different journey. And there's a lot of really great stuff about this on Golden Paint Colors and Gamblin Oils. Artist cadmium is coated. Don't eat your cadmium paint. Everything I'm about to say, let's still keep it about keeping it out of your lungs and out of your body because it's cadmium. Mm-hmm. But it's coated so it's less bioavailable to you. Gamblin Oils likes to say like you could eat a whole tube of cadmium oil paint and be okay. Don't. I think that was a crazy thing to say. But I'm really glad that they did that. And they use a lot. One of the reasons cadmium paint is so expensive is because paint companies cannot afford to replace highly skilled people, because to make paint is a very unique, specialized skill. So they really do protect their people, just in case you know. But if you're worried about cadmium, Pyrrole red is just as red, so you don't have to use it. It's not required.
Right.
I'm just fun facting, but not trying to change anybody's mind about cadmium, because there's so many good options. It used to be there weren't a lot of good options, but there are so many good options. I continue to use cadmium. I'm going to do a twinkle in my star. The reason I continue to use cadmium is because there's a hue alternative. So whether you're painting professional paint with me,
Ooh, I like that.
or you're painting student paint, we can get a similar color. Whereas there isn't really a Pyrrole student color. It really is a pro paint only. So that's why I made that decision. And I thought long and hard about it. Just making a little twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I don't sing well enough for content ID. I like to paint the little twinkles. John likes to point out this is a lens effect from telescopes, but my stars twinkle at night to my eyes, so I like to paint that. Interior twinkles is fun too. There we go, guys.
That turned out awesome.
Linda's like, fire, fire, fire. Cinnamon, how do you keep up with it all? Are you homeschooling as well? And with the kids, are they actually going to school now? Asked Christina M. And I'm going to answer this because I think a lot of families are like us, learning a new reality in relationship to COVID and quarantine and everything that's happening. In our area, there is like on a full day, there's very few students that go to the school. So there was already a low student body, and the school created a really good partially on, partially off plan. They have temperature screening when the kids come in. They have like 6 kids in a class, and they're all just in 6 feet apart, and they do 2 days, and then they do the rest of the week at home school. So, you know, none of it's easy. And we really had to think about what to do. And I'm not even saying that was even, I can't even say to you, oh, that was the right thing. And I know that for all these things. We talked about it as a family, and we looked at the risk, and we looked at the benefit, and we looked at the steps the school and the bus and the transportation was taking. And in our area, we were lucky enough that they had the resources to take those steps. That isn't true everywhere. And then we're doing the partial homeschooling again, and that has been really well done where we are. But I just want to say right now, I think homeschool moms are awesome. And I think everyone else just found out how awesome homeschool moms are who have just found themselves homeschooling. I want to shout out the teachers that are discovering how to teach remotely for the first time, because that's not easy to use all the tools and figure out how to get the information. And to just the kids and the parents and all of us and the bus drivers and everybody who's part of this process, who's trying to make this work. And to all the college kids that are out there, hey guys, party later, stay home right now. I know you're going to be like, oh, party now, but really seriously, if somebody on TikTok does it, I promise you it is not a good idea. And I'm the queen of having 10 bad ideas in my youth. So I speak with wisdom. In spite my cat ears, I speak with wisdom. So, yeah, we're trying to do it as, respectfully as possible, and safely as possible, and carefully as possible, and for the public safety and for the safety of our family, because we do think about the public safety a lot. Mm-hmm. We talked about it, and we were like, well, if we're wrong, all that happened is that we were extra careful and didn't cause anybody any harm anyways, and maybe we went through some extra steps. But, I can live with that. Being mildly inconvenienced and being wrong would be okay. So just was what was right for us.
Yeah.
What was right for us. Bianca says, I can say if you buy online, Pyro is like $10 from Holbein, so it's affordable. Yeah, and you get Pyro from Holbein, you've got some red. So it's a really good alternative red a lot of times people don't think about. And I think that the thing automatically deleted some message, but I don't know. Without the auto translator on there, it's very hard to say.
No, it missed it, so we couldn't get that one.
Sometimes it catches things.
Hello from all over the world.
Hello from all over the world. Hi. Sometimes the auto system grabs your stuff, and we're sorry for that. We don't always have control over that. Oh, and then I gotta read this because, goodness, I love how you and John honor one another with respect, yet each of you maintain your unique creativity and identity. Actually, thank you very much. I think that's very true. I think John's a very unique individual, and he does his thing, but he's super participant, obviously, in what we do here, and he's always allowed me to be me, and it's, I don't know what that message means. All right, I'll let the mods take care of it. Sometimes you see fascinating stuff. Like, I don't know. I just recently learned what the mods are dealing with. I think I promised we're kind of at the end, guys. Yeah. I think I promised that at the end I would sign it, and then we would thank the patrons, and then I would show you what's going on this week with the 5-minute videos for those of you that were good and stayed to the end. So I'm going to sign here. I don't want to sign in white, though. That's going to be too bright. So I'm going to, I don't know, I'll sign in blue. I'm really fussy about signing in colors that are going to pull like the whole thing. Next week is Rose Week, and we are going to be an hour later for Watercolor Wednesday on Facebook. Just because scheduling, I'm going to update that here. 13 Days of Halloween is coming along beautifully, and you'll start to see those thumbnails get scheduled out. We are really going to try to do those tips to the 5-minute videos as well. So for people who can't do the lives every day, they've got something they can do to participate. Wish me luck on that. It may change the scheduling, but I think anytime we can include more people, that's a good thing. Are you ready to do the thank yous, John? And I will pull.
Let's see here. I'm going to go down here.
Rosie says, can you turn your location off when super chatting? The location isn't viewable to us. We shouldn't be able to see your location. They should be protecting your privacy in that area.
Let's see.
It shouldn't show. If it is showing, that's another setting that you probably need to look at in your super chat area, because it shouldn't show for us. I haven't seen anybody's location on their super chat tonight. I always like to keep the iPad sort of open, one, because it lets me see the chat with you guys, but it also lets me see what you're seeing, so I'm present to it as well, just in case I'm not like getting it. I feel like this came out really good.
I think so too.
All right, well, while you're finding that, I will take this out. So today, this was today's 5-minute, I think I got to still be small. This is today's 5-minute video.
I've got everything ready, so you are.
Now, we did, Monday, we did a video that showed you the 9 techniques you would need to know to do everything this week. And it came with a worksheet, which was released on Facebook and is also on the community tab here on YouTube, which you can see on your phone and on your desktop, but not always on mobile. And I also pinned it on Pinterest in the 5-minute tutorial board. So those are the places that you can find it right now. This one was, I started with this one because it was like the easiest to kind of roll those techniques out. I would say probably the most interesting part of it was using the blending. Blending was done almost entirely with the Princeton mop this week. So just a nice soft mop brush, but you could use any soft brush you have. Tomorrow is going to be this beauty. Look at those rainbow wishing dandelions. So if you've been here on the channel for a while, you might know that I like rainbows and things that are rainbows and all things rainbow. Mm-hmm. And I find rainbows symbols of optimism and hope and inclusion and all the things that I love and am about in the world. So I love painting them. And I felt like I liked how the beginning and the end of the rainbow were blown with the idea that you wouldn't think I would put this much thought into a Q-tip painting, but I do. That they had gone out there. And we worked on a pink and blue. These are all really good, by the way, if you are homeschooling and you're dealing with that, because they're within the attention span of what your kids are willing to deal with right now with everything they're going through. So that's tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Come at 9:45 Eastern in the morning, and I will be there to answer questions. Rosie, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I guess what she's saying is that it says where she's at because of the type of currency. I don't know how to disable that. But here's the thing. I don't know where that is, so does that help? I don't know if that helps.
I have currency. I know where the ZAR is from.
Okay.
South
John
Africa.
travels a lot more than I do.
It's the
but I think she didn't want to say. I think she didn't want to say.
Oh no.
But thank you so much.
It's Rand is what it's called.
Okay. Desiree says, I forgot to say the 5-minute things are great because my niece pops over randomly to paint with me and we can do those quickly together. Yeah, these are all about you learning a technique quickly, learning concept quickly, or getting to do a project quickly. So this one, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to show you this. Check out these birch trees. The technique to do these, if you only do one of my 5-minute videos, you got to show up and do this one. The reveal of the trees is going to be... Also, you're going to really like this outfit because I'll be in this outfit without the ears all week. I think then it should go... Does anybody like hydrangeas? Does anybody like hydrangeas? Because if you like hydrangeas, look at this baby.
Oh, those are very fluffy, cottony ball
I love hydrangeas, things. Right? So again, the lessons in 5 minutes. You do the first video, do the techniques, practice it on the worksheet, then you'll know them and you'll be like, because you really only need to know the steps, right? Now, you guys ready? Mm-hmm. And I thought it was so funny because I was talking about this part and I'm like, this is cursive from the way back times of the 80s.
You may have seen this before. You may not have seen this
It's on
before.
the mason jar. This strange messaging. So I think this is going to go over really, really well. If you have your opera pink, I pulled it out a lot. I got my luminous Holbein out for this, but you could use any bright colors that you like throughout this week. I think it's going to be great. This one is Saturday. So this one goes Friday, Saturday, and these are, again, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I'm in the chat at 9:45. And it's John. John comes in and chats too. Mm-hmm. You guys ready? How I finished the week?
All right.
Can you guess? Yes. Guess what we did? How did we finish the week? You guys probably haven't seen it. So that's how that week finishes. That is how that week finishes. Now, the following week, the next Monday, we're going to get into some painting stuff, like techniques you need to know as a beginner and questions that you have that I know every beginner has, like that. How do I paint this? How do I paint that? How do I paint this? How do I mix that? How do I do that technique? We're going to start getting into those. I just wanted to give you guys a couple weeks to get used to the format and the idea of it and have it be fun and have it be something that you, like me, could do with your kids easily, could do with your friends and family, or may want to do for yourself, because I think these are all gorgeous pieces that you might enjoy having on your own wall. Oh, thank you so much, Julie Tabbitt. I really appreciate that. And Christine says she's glad that everything is going the secret language of adults the kids can't read. I know, but that's true now. That's true. They can't read it. I love my eldest taught herself cursive because she couldn't stand not knowing what I was writing. So she was like, I'm just going to learn it. Learn cursive. And she did. She actually taught herself.
Let's see what we got here.
All right. What is Super Chat? Says Gretchen Kramer. Super Chat. Oh, Patty. Thank you, Patty. Is a way for people. So we have two ways to support us financially. If you want to, you don't need to. The classes are free. It does help, but it's not required. We have a monthly patronage where you get kinds of cool, groovy classes and extra stuff with me. And then we have Super Chat. Heather K, thank you so much, which you can do one time during the live show through YouTube. And, you know, you have all the security that comes with Google and Google privacy and all those things. So, but ours is secure. I don't know why. The way I said it made it seem like ours wasn't secure, which it totally is. Sarah Stewart says, I love your necklace. Oh, yes. It is the TARDIS. And this is the Her Universe.
Hold on.
From Torrid.
Hold on, I can.
Sweater. I also have the cardigan and a dress.
I have the thing on the screen so you can't see below it.
I put it up. I was like, look at my patch. Sylvia Bohr, thank you so much.
And then there's our
Rosie Monster. Thank you, Rosie Monster. Really appreciate that.
All over the other continents. And
Julie Talbot. Thank you, Julie.
Now, we also had some stickers, I think. So let me go check our sticker sheet.
Stickers. It's a thing that catches it so we know what happens so we can say thank you.
Oh, we do have a sticker. Where did it go?
Now, I'm going to say this because, John, I learned something crazy.
What did you learn?
Apparently, YouTubers, get their communities to fund all kinds of crazy things. And they do terrible stuff like adopt a kid and then, give them back and rehome them illegally and all kinds of crazy drama.
What?
Yeah, what I just said.
No, that's not, I don't even know what, no.
So I just want you to know that everything you go here goes to paint and cables and camera equipment. And only that. What you donate to us just does not go to some crazy thing.
We tell you everything we do. Yeah. We're so not.
Sometimes we fail.
We do. We totally mess up.
Fail. But we do always try, and we do take it very seriously, and we recognize in a world. Stephanie Willis, thank you so much.
We don't generally give up either.
We don't give up. It may be slow. It may be 2 years late, but we get there.
It's like,
because we never forget.
Oh, we will have an interactive website. There will be badges.
There will be badges.
There will be badges.
A traceable app. It's just been a journey. We've only had to change web companies. I don't know how many times.
We've only had to,
do that thing. Sorry to John just broke John's brain. I'll show you later on YouTube's. I've been catching up. I watch Deaf Noodles for my YouTube drama. So I can stay caught up. I like him. He also wears cat ears. So I'm like, sisters.
I don't know who that
Twinsies.
Don't know who that is.
Deaf Noodles is my favorite drama channel.
It's okay. But
Sisters, I have to know what Peytos is up to because maybe someday she might paint with me and I got to be ready.
you know what? I don't have to know because I'm
You do
making
have to
some.
know she
I'm
could
building.
paint with us and then I'm going to be ready.
You know what I'm doing?
Mm.
We're gonna
I'm be on
look-
H-
what do you think about this?
H3.
What would you think about this?
Mm.
As something, this was
Mhm.
proposed to me, which I kind of thought would be. What would you think of like having a VW garden, like a VW bug that was like had flowers growing out of it? That was
Are
like
you trying to ask me publicly so that I can't like tell you
no,
what I
you
think?
could totally veto it because like it was just
Probably
like I
be great. Can I have a
don't
water
know.
fountain?
Yeah, well, I
Oh.
was thinking like a whole.
Sorry,
like,
thank you so much. Rosie Monster, thank you again. I just want to say being a visually impaired artist is hard, but you have made the journey so much better and enjoyable. Rosie, thank you for sharing that part of your journey with me, and please know that you are not alone. That is actually my own cousin is a visually impaired artist, so I totally kind of understand that journey, and I love when artists just go, this is who I am and I'm going to paint and I'm going to decide that and others are not going to decide that. And I'm so happy to be a part of that. So thank you.
You know, Shirley points out that cursive is becoming a lost skill. You know what? Staplers are becoming a lost skill.
That's true. Collating, hole punching,
Yeah.
just paper management in
that's right.
general. Paper will someday be like, what is
It's
this
like
thing? This thin sheet that doesn't have a screen on it. I don't know what it is.
It's like, yes.
It doesn't get me on TikTok. What can I do with it?
A paperclip is more than just an animated character to help you do something.
If you're on Instagram, be sure and follow my account, TheArtSherpa, because we're starting to do some really cool experimental music things. We tried to do music before in art. We're really trying to do it, and so we're doing reels now.
I like some music.
He does. He likes some music, and you get to have John be your DJ, which is always fascinating.
I don't get to go full DJ because like I can't have bad words.
Thank you so much, Rosie. I just so appreciate that. It's so kind. So this is the week. If your guys are awake and not at work and can be there at 9:45 to come say hi to me and John, Eastern Standard Time, and then 10 o'clock for the premiere. And those are there to watch. And that's a playlist that you can go find. It's the 5-minute video playlist. I'm featuring it on the channel. Last week we did fan brush techniques. And this, like everything you need to know about fan brush, 5 minutes. This week is Q-tips. Next week we're going to get real.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get real, John. You get real about it. Okay.
In this virtual world we live in?
Yes. And if you're wondering, the drama channel's Deaf Noodles. You tell him the Art Sherpa sent you and that she has ears too. And I'm afraid of Trisha Paytas now because of him.
Your YouTubery frightens me. You're like you want to go play with fire, like these drama channels. You're like, oh,
I don't want to
play with
be
the fire
in
channels.
I don't want to be in drama. I want to drink the tea. I don't want to be involved in making any tea.
You want to warm yourself by the fire.
I want to warm myself by the fire of the drama, but I don't want to be involved in it at all. So, But definitely tell him I think he's got a great channel. And I have had ears when ears were not, well, I've always had ears. Josie and the Pussycats. But, Gretchen says, perfect. I'm also a patron. Auntie Vicky says, maybe do something to honor the end of Supernatural. Besides weep hysterically for a week, I'll think on it. But I think I'm going to go into Sam and Dean shock. Honestly, I don't know how I would have gotten through this year without Sam and Dean memes. Mm-hmm. Because they just make me feel better in the darkest night. Darkest night. I get through with my shows. Elaine says she loves the birch trees. We showed her how, and I guess we're just talking to our community now. All right, guys, we got to be good and let our family run around the house. Because the dogs probably want to be. Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And we want to see you in an easel really soon.